Welcome back to another episode of our Regal London web series. On this segment, we have a returning guest, Stan from Savills, to give us an update on what's new in the London property market. It's a pleasure to have you again with us, Stan.
Thanks for having me, Fahd. It's great to be here.
Give us an update on how the London property market is performing. With the UK finally opening up its borders with no quarantine, at least from this region from October 4th, and with the COVID numbers waning, can we expect to see an uptick in sales and house prices along with it?
Yes, you can. London has continued to buck the trend. We've seen the strongest half year in terms of volume and value terms since 2015. I think the first two quarters of this year we saw £4.4 billion worth of transactions in the £5 million bracket or above, which was £700 million above the 2017 to 2019 average. So we're roughly 28% above our pre-COVID levels. When you look at the Middle East as a whole, we've been in somewhat of a holding pattern over the last 18 months. The appetite to invest has absolutely been there, but the urgency just hasn't been. And the reason for that is because people just haven't been able to travel. So now flights have opened up, for sure we expect to see a really strong end to 2021 this last quarter. We've already seen the number of inquiries increase already, the number of offers indeed increase over the past 2 weeks. And we're expecting to see a number of deals transact over the course of the next 3 months.
All right, you've said the number of inquiries have increased significantly recently. How has Savills been performing over the last 6 months since our last interview, particularly from the Middle East, from this region? Has the buyer demographic changed? Are there any particular price points or locations that buyers are focusing on?
No, I would say the buyer demographic has stayed fairly similar to when we last spoke, Fahd. As a business, year on year, we're up from where we were in 2020, not surprisingly. With the headwinds of Brexit disappeared, COVID is disappearing slowly as well, and obviously flights are starting to open up again, which is great news. But if I look back at the year to date, we're seeing most transactions happen at the sub £1 million mark. That seems to be where people are willing to commit before they actually view the property first. When it gets above that price point, particularly the people we're dealing with who tend to be end users, owner-occupiers, they want to go view, see, feel, touch a product before they commit. So now, as I said, now as flights have opened up, we expect to see the interest we're receiving in the higher value kit finally transact.
Well, there are a few hotspots for investments in London at the moment, but I wanted to focus on today's episode on a particular one, which is Watford. We have an exciting new development that we have just launched. But before we get into the development, I wanted to ask for your insight on the real estate market in Watford and what makes the area such a compelling place to invest in.
Look, Watford is a fantastic area. It's located 15 minutes by train from London. It's an area that's very green, if you will, so it's for people that want to stay away from urban living. In a way, COVID's had a positive impact on Watford because we've seen a flight to space for many people who want to move out of London and have into areas with more greenery, etc. I think whenever you're looking to invest in any area, you need to see what's going on locally. And within Watford itself, there's a £1.5 billion investment from the local council into the regeneration and the infrastructure of the area. That's massive. So from my perspective, if it was me, I like the fact that's happening in my backyard, basically. Watford as well, we've seen growth this year of circa 8% in terms of capital appreciation. We've seen 7% growth in terms of rental yields, rental values as well. And you know, it's a great area and very commutable to London. So
you've just mentioned now that Watford Business Council has committed £1.5 billion to Watford to the regeneration and development of the infrastructure of Watford over the next 10 years. So tell our viewers how this affects the demographic in the area, the rental market, and the demand to live in Watford.
So the demographic in the area tends to be, there are a lot of families there, people that have shied away from the urban living and want to live in more greenery, more open spaces. We've got a lot of people aged between 20 and 30 perhaps starting their first jobs within London who are on London salaries but can't really afford to live there. They want to live slightly further out, and obviously Watford's 15 minutes by train from central London. You've got a few major corporations that have moved their offices to Watford as well. So you've got KPMG, PwC, ASOS and Ralph Lauren who have office headquarters there as well. So in terms of your rental pool, you've got great office occupiers there who are likely to want high quality residential stock to live in. In terms of values in Watford, you know, for a new build like this, you could expect to achieve somewhere up to 5% gross yields. So it's a great place to invest.
Today's prices.
On today's prices. So it's a great place to invest.
And finally, moving on to our development, the Clarendon. I suppose you can say there is nothing quite like it in the area that is currently there, and that's what makes it stand out as a very attractive building and as an investment. This need for high quality new homes in the area.
Yeah, there is. If you're looking for a best-in-class product, the Clarendon is absolutely that. There is nothing like this in Watford to date. This is a 5-star London development located in Watford. So, you know, the amenities speak for themselves. You've got 24-hour concierge, you've got the cinema room, you've got the gym, you've got the fantastic roof terrace on the 25th floor. You've also got the 7th floor roof terrace as well. And this is for, if you're, like I said, if you're looking for a best-in-class product, look further, no further than the Clarendon. This is the one to look at.
All right. Well, that's an update from Stan from Savills on the London property market, the area of Watford, and our new development, the Clarendon, which is just launched. Please do get in touch with us if you have any inquiries about the development, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.